Hey, so when you sent those materials over about routines after TBI, it really got me thinking. I've been trying to revamp my own morning routine,
Mm,
and seeing how crucial routines are for TBI recovery just adds a whole other layer, you know?
yeah.
Plus, some of the stuff in this setting up routines document is seriously eye-opening.
Well, and what's so interesting is how we underestimate the power of routine. We think of it as rigid, you know,
Yeah.
or boring. But after a TBI, it's like handing someone a compass and a map when they're lost in the woods.
Okay, let's unpack that analogy because it's really resonating with me. The document talks about how TBI can impact cognitive function,
Yeah.
making it harder to process information and make decisions. So are you saying routines basically lighten that cognitive load?
Exactly. Imagine your brain only has a limited amount of energy after a TBI. Routines are like shortcuts. They reduce the energy needed to make decisions, leaving more for recovery, and those everyday tasks that might now feel overwhelming.
That makes sense. It's like if you don't have to think about what to do next, there's more mental space to actually do
And
it.
mm,
And that's got to reduce frustration for everyone.
Precisely. Less frustration means less agitation, which this document highlights as a common challenge after TBI. And here's something that might surprise you. One study found that even using simple visual rewards, like stickers on a chart to track routine adherence, led to a 30% increase in positive behaviors for people recovering from TBI.
Wow, a 30% increase just from adding stickers. That's huge. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're saying it's not just about the routine itself, but also about how it's presented and reinforced.
Absolutely. It's about creating an environment that supports success. And positive reinforcement is a key part of that. But it's also about understanding the why behind the routine, which I think leads perfectly into our next point about positive reinforcement and collaboration.
So we're talking about creating an environment that supports success. And the setting up routines document really emphasizes positive reinforcement. It's funny, I used to think of positive reinforcement as something you do for kids, like giving gold stars. But this makes it clear it's important for everyone.
It really is. Especially after a TBI. Think about it. You're already dealing with so many challenges. So focusing on what's going well, no matter how small, can make a world of difference.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do you actually put positive reinforcement into practice? Especially for adults. The document mentions rewards, but it doesn't have to be anything elaborate.
Right. You're right. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. It's about identifying what motivates the individual. Maybe it's a favorite activity, a bit of extra free time, or even just verbal praise that acknowledges their effort. Setting up routines actually gives a great example. They talk about a young man who loved listening to music, and incorporating that into his routine means a huge difference in his motivation.
That's a great example, and it highlights something else the document emphasizes collaboration. It's not just about imposing a routine, but about working together to make it work for the individual.
Exactly. Involving the individual in the process is essential. It not only helps tailor the routine to their preferences, but it also gives them a sense of ownership and control, which can be incredibly empowering after a TBI.
And isn't that sense of control especially important after a TBI, when so much feels uncertain?
Absolutely. When you involve someone in designing their own routine, you're not just creating a schedule. You're fostering a sense of agency. It becomes a collaborative journey, not a dictated path. But this collaborative approach isn't limited to just the individual and their immediate caregivers, is it?
Hmm.
The document also emphasizes the need for consistency across all environments.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the bigger picture, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like that saying, it takes a village. And that definitely seems true when it comes to TBI recovery. What really stood out to me in setting up routines was how important consistency is, not just in one setting, but across the board with everyone involved.
It's like we talked about earlier. The brain after a TBI is working so hard to recover and relearn. Consistent routines provide a stable foundation. But if those routines are constantly changing from one person or place to another, it's like trying to build a house on shifting sand.
That's such a powerful image. It makes the importance of consistency so much clearer. The document actually shared a story about a woman who made amazing progress with her routines at home, but then she really struggled when she started going to a new day program because they had a totally different approach.
Yeah, that's unfortunately really common. And that's why setting up routines stresses the importance of a unified approach, with clear communication and collaboration between everyone involved, from family to therapists, to anyone interacting with the individual regularly.
They even suggest creating a written plan that outlines everything right. It's like a roadmap that everyone can follow to make sure they're on the same page.
Exactly. Having a shared document, like a visual schedule or a list of strategies for managing different situations, helps to eliminate confusion and ensures that everyone's responding consistently.
It's about creating that supportive, predictable environment we talked about, where the individual feels safe and understood, regardless of where they are or who they're with.
Right. It transforms routine from just a series of tasks into a framework for support that can make a world of difference in someone's recovery and ultimately their quality of life.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like we've gone way beyond just the basics, and I'm walking away with a whole new appreciation for the power of routines, not just after TBI, but in everyday life.
Me too. It's been great.
It's so true.
And remember, even small changes to create more structure and support can have a huge impact.
Absolutely. And if you're listening and you have questions or want to explore any of these ideas further, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're always up for another deep dive. Until next time.